do we have a blatant textbook example of pay to play with corruption this morning. I mean, this is all just so crazy to the point where, like, this is stuff that SNL would come up with. So, we all know that a power of the president is the ability to pardon people. It is a power that is allocated and expressed within Article 2 of the Constitution, which covers a lot of the executive powers. Well, Donald Trump is not trying to hide the pay-for-play kind of corruption angle, where he is now going through and, like, strictly just pardoning people in exchange for favors. And this is the kind of corruption that, I mean, we've seen Trump corruption before, but this is just like, they're not even trying to hide it. And yet his supporters will lap it up like dogs. It's crazy. So we're going to cover some textbook examples of Trump's corruption. This is going to be a super, super short live stream today because I have to get going. But I wanted to still bring some of this information to you. And I will be making some videos later on about this. I mean, I'm going to be giving you at least 4 specific examples of just blatant textbook pay-for-play corruption. And it's like, Trump is giving out pardons like he's for sale. And, like, there's always been questionable pardons that have been done by people in power. I mean, there was the questionable pardon of Hunter Biden that happened in the last administration. Though, if you really want to look at it on a scale, you have 1 to, like, so many that are way more controversial. So, even if you want to say, like, oh, well, under Democratic presidents, they do it too. Sure. But is it at the scale in which it warrants a equal comparison? No. So let me break it all down to you. Let's start off with the Chrisleys, who, to be honest, I had no idea who these people were. Okay? I didn't. Yeah, it's quid pro quo, 100% Cantisa. Let's start off with the Chrisleys. For those people who are unfamiliar, the Chrisleys have been convicted. They were convicted of fraud, specifically for defrauding banks. And this was in regards to their show, which was a lavish lifestyle. A lavish lifestyle that was talking all about, you know, it was called Chrisley Knows Best. So let's get into it here. Trump grants full pardon to the Chrisleys, reality TV stars convicted of shocking fraud. And you're going to be hearing a lot more about this in the next 24 to 48 hours. President Donald Trump called Savannah Chrisley from the Oval Office on Tuesday to tell her that he would be pardoning her parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley, who were convicted in 2022 of defrauding banks of millions of dollars. The couple became famous on reality TV. Oh, gee, I wonder if this has any connection with Donald Trump being a reality TV star. The couple became famous on reality TV with their shows Chrisley Knows Best, but were eventually jailed on charges related to some $30 million in fraudulent loans. Todd Chrisley received a 12-year jail sentence, while Julie was sentenced to 7 years for the scheme. Trump White House communications aide Margot Martin shared some of the moments where Trump called Savannah Chrisley, who spoke at the 2024 Republican National Convention. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Savannah Chrisley was a huge, huge advocate for the Trump campaign in the 2024 election. Was even known for going on the campaign trail, talking about being a part of, like, the Women for Trump kind of caucus. Gee, I wonder if it's like, oh, well, if I really help out your campaign, will you pardon my parents? It's a quid pro quo. I'll scratch my back if you scratch yours. So, like, it's textbook corruption here. It's textbook corruption. This is her speaking at the RNC. And, like, she goes on in the speech at the RNC being like, my family is so unfairly prosecuted. Oh, it's just so horrible. What is all happening? Oh my goodness, that's just, it's just, you've never seen anything like it. It's like, cry me a river. Seriously, your family had a show about lavish lifestyles, and then they defrauded banks let me even break down some of that. She was like, my family was persecuted by rogue prosecutors in Fulton County, Georgia, which is like one of the big counties where Atlanta is. And she goes on to be like, due to our public profile and conservative beliefs, they accused my parents of fraud. No, not accused. No, they were convicted. Convicted by a jury. So let me actually show you here. Prosecutors said Todd and Julie Chrisley conspired to defraud Atlanta area banks of more than $36 million in personal loans by submitting false bank statements and other records, which they spent on luxury cars and travel. The same thing that Donald Trump would do, trying to defraud the banks by devaluing his properties in order to not pay as much tax, and then all of a sudden use that money for his lavish lifestyle. Or even George Santos, who recently did that. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump tries to go and pardon George Santos for these things. And later, it was discovered later that the Chrisleys actually even defrauded the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, evading collection of $500,000 in taxes owed by Todd Chrisley, prosecutors alleged, while raking in millions of dollars from their TV show. The Chrisleys were also alleged to have failed to file tax returns to pay for taxes for years 2013 through 2016. Yeah, drain the swamp, right? Television personality sentenced to years in federal prison for fraud and tax evasion. This is literally the conviction that has come out from the United States Attorney's Office. It's coming from an official U.S. government site, and you can see down here at justice.gov. Let me go through and read this here. Todd and Julie Chrisley have been sentenced to 12 and 7 years, respectively, in prison after a jury actually convicted them of bank and fraud offenses following a 3-week jury trial. And Donald Trump just pardoned them. Even then they say, oh, drain the swamp, drain the swamp. Trump is like the Grand Poobah of swamp creatures. He's going through and pardoning people who have committed fraud. Like, don't come at me with whatever whataboutism about Hunter Biden also. Here's the thing. Hunter Biden should not have been pardoned by his dad. Oh no. Did the dog catch up with the car? Hunter Biden should not have been pardoned. Though if you're upset about Hunter Biden being pardoned, great. Cool. You're upset by that. You should also be upset by all of the myriad of examples that I'm about to provide of all of Donald Trump, all of his pay-for-play, quid pro quo style examples. The next example I'm going to show you is literally a guy's mom who goes to fundraisers for Trump, goes to $1 million a plate dinners at Mar-a-Lago, and does bidding for the campaign in exchange for her son's pardon. This is textbook corruption. This is the kind of stuff that you'd see in Looney Tunes. This is the kind of stuff you'd see in comics, with like gold bars falling out of like suit jacket pockets. Yet this is literally what's happening now. So Todd and Julie Chrisley have been sentenced to 12 and 7 years respectively. Over the course of the decade, the defendants defrauded banks out of tens of millions of dollars while evading payment of their federal income taxes. If you're enjoying the live stream, please make sure to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. I love all of you. Said U.S. Attorney Ryan K. Buchanan, their lengthy sentences reflect the magnitude of their criminal scheme and should serve as a warning to others tempted to exploit our nation's community banking system. As the sentencing proves, when you cheat, lie, and steal, justice is blind to your fame, fortune, and position. Going further within the conviction here, the Chrisleys defrauded financial institutions and the federal government through tax evasion and other fraudulent means in an effort to minimize their tax liability, but project an image of wealth. According to U.S. Attorney Buchanan, the charges and other information presented in court, Todd and Julie Chrisley conspired to defraud community banks in the Atlanta area to obtain more than $36 million in personal loans. And then after spending all that money, Todd Chrisley filed for bankruptcy and walked away from more than $20 million of these fraudulently obtained loans. The Chrisleys spent the money that they had obtained on designer clothes, luxury cars, and used the fraudulent loans to pay themselves, to pay back old ones. So like, yeah, This is textbook corruption, pure and simple. And going further here, in addition, the Chrisleys failed to file their tax returns or pay any taxes for 2013, 2014, 2015 through 2016 tax years. And Donald Trump just gave them a full pardon. So this person's like, yeah, this is who Trump is looking out for, not you or your family. He's looking out for criminals. And there was this one person that was like, oh, but what about this or what about that? What about Doge finding so much corruption? First of all, Doge hasn't found shit. Actually, Doge has literally cost us money. But that all being said, if you want to do some whataboutism, you say, oh, what about Hunter Biden? He should not have been pardoned. Oh my gosh, wait, you're like, but Hunter, no, he shouldn't have been pardoned. Like, do you think Democrats were going to be okay with that either? But if you want to say, okay, well, Hunter Biden, yes, we hear you loud and clear. Do you realize how many other people should not have been pardoned? But guess what? Under this existing administration, you have the Chrisleys, you have Paul Wyzak, you have Michelle Fiore, you also have Scott Jenkins. These are examples that I'm going to provide for you. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go here in a minute, but I'm going to be recording some content later on specifically about this. Trump's pardon are a middle finger to law and democracy. Trump's pardon today of the Chrisleys could not send a clearer message. If you're rich, you're the shit. If you're not rich, then you're just shit. That is so well said. So disgusting that this is happening. This couple should be locked up. How long before they get a new reality TV show? If it gets an audience, the American people should be ashamed of themselves. So, I mean, the comments keep going on and on. He seems to be pardoning fellow criminals like himself early and before midterms before things flip. But I thought Trump was the one that was tough on crime guy. I guess if they'd done things Trump himself has done, they get pardoned. Probably feels sorry for them. Probably feel sorry for them as they followed Trump's how to fraud / con people and get away with it online course. It's normal behavior for a criminal to pardon other criminals, right? So fraudulent a family hiding behind Christian values while they're literally stealing money. And of course he pardoned them. So it's just, it makes me so sick that like, this is literally where we're at. This is Trump's kind of people. This is a bad decision and I'm disgusted by it. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go here in a second because I have to get to work. But I'm going to be recording some content specifically about this. But before I even go, I want to mention that there are way more examples of this Trump corruption. I'm going to just name out some names and feel free to go and investigate it yourself. Paul Wyzak. This is someone that Donald Trump has literally pardoned. He used the tax withholdings from his employees as a business owner and actually used that money, and instead of paying it to the IRS, used it to spend money on like luxury cars, luxury clothes, and like all of this crap. And yeah, he was sentenced, he was convicted for it, and Trump just pardoned him. Why do you pardon someone like that? Why do you pardon someone like that? Also, the reason why Donald Trump pardoned him is because his mom, whose name is Elizabeth Fago, literally went to Mar-a-Lago and purchased $1 million plates at a fundraiser for his campaign. That's a quid pro quo, pure, raw, and simple. If you're angry about Hunter Biden, sure. You should be just as angry, if not more angry, at something like this. But you're going to say, oh, well, I don't care because it's on my side. And there it is. You only care about corruption when you can point fingers and steer a narrative instead of the actual thing itself. Way to tell on yourself. Have an ideology. Don't be a political vessel just for someone else's gain. Anyway, I need to go here. I have 19 minutes. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm going to be recording a lot more content. Other names to go and quickly look up as well about this. Scott Jenkins, someone that literally took money for bribery and Donald Trump just pardoned him. Another name is Michelle Fiore. Michelle Fiore, who literally used publicly fundraised dollars while she was acting as a judge that was supposed to be for a statue of a slain police officer and used it for her own cosmetic plastic surgery. No, you cannot make this up. And also the former governor of Illinois, who Donald Trump also just pardoned. That's actually 5. That's 5 examples, right? Or am I, yeah, 5 examples of just like blatant textbook corruption right there. So anyway, I need to go. I love all of you. Just remember, and shout out to my amazing moderators in here, Cherie, Ellie, I love all of you so much. Jacqueline, you're awesome. Ginger Monster, love you. Kate, Jenny, Joanna Tech, Akicha, Cantisa, I love all of you so much. Just remember that you are beautiful. You are loved. You are valid. You are strong. And you are fierce. Don't let anyone or anything ever dim your shine. Be on the lookout for more content later on. I love all of you so much. Bye!